Hello, wonderful beings. Welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, a place where the right message finds you. My name is Anisha, and I am a mindfulness meditation teacher and also a life coach. And yeah, I have been a teacher here on Insight Timer for about 3 years now. So, this is a little bit about me. And I would love to know about you, like which part of the world you are joining us from. And is this your first time here? So feel free to, drop a comment and let me know, any of these things, a little bit about you. And until you do that, let me share what we do here. Like, let me give you a quick overview of this live. So, we usually begin these lives with a meditation of around 15 to 20 minutes. And that meditation is based upon the quote that you might have seen when you open Insight Timer app. So we meditate upon that quote, soak in that wisdom, and apply it to our life. And then once we are feeling more open, more settled, more centered, we move on to phase two of this life, which is about doing some intuitive reading so that you can receive the message that you need to hear most right now in your life. So yeah, for that, what we have is we have a wheel, and that wheel contains the name of a lot of transformational books that I have came across in my own journey of healing and personal growth. So we spin the wheel, and the universe, divine, God, angels, ancestors, spirit, higher self, whatever you believe in, whatever you think is guiding you right now, chooses a book for us from that wheel randomly. And then we play a game where I ask you guys to pick some numbers, and then we do a reading based on that. So, this was a very quick overview. I will share more details when we get to each part. But for right now, I would love to know that are you guys ready for a meditation? Like, are you guys settled in a quiet place or wherever you would like to meditate? And if you are, you can type ready in the comments so I know, and then we can begin with the meditation. Hello, Leslie. It's so nice to see you here again. And Leslie's ready. Beautiful. Hi, Ed. Ed is joining us from Canary Isles, and he is ready as well. Beautiful, wonderful. Okay, so give me a minute to drop a quick text in the comments as well for those who will join us during the meditation so they have some sense as to what is going on here. So, just a second. Okay, done. Hello, Eve. Welcome back again. Eve says, good morning, Anisha and everyone. A very good morning to you, Eve, as well. Okay, so let's start the meditation. Begin by coming into a comfortable position. You can choose to lie down, stand, or sit upright. Whatever posture feels most comfortable to you. As you begin to settle in this posture, allow your eyes to close, or alternatively, you can choose to lower your gaze. So this helps us take away our attention from the world outside of us and arrive within. Rest your awareness on the ground beneath you. So feel supported by the surface beneath you. Notice how it is holding you right now without asking anything of you. There is nothing to fix in this moment, nothing to prove. Simply be. Now allow yourself to take a deep breath in through your nose and a slow breath out through your mouth. And now let your breath follow its natural rhythm. Today, we are going to meditate upon a quote by Hermann Hesse. The quote is: some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is letting go. Again, sometimes some of us think that holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is letting go. We are often taught that never giving up is the ultimate virtue. We apply this to everything: our dead end jobs, toxic relationships, or even to old versions of ourselves. We think that by holding on, we are being tough. This quote reminds us that strength isn't always about effort, control, or endurance. Many of us learned that staying strong means holding on to people, roles, expectations, habits, identities, or situations, even when they no longer serves us. Sometimes the real reason because of which we hold on is because we are afraid. We are afraid of the void that comes after, or because we feel that letting go equals failure. In reality, letting go is an active, courageous choice. It requires more internal strength to open your hand and face the unknown. It requires more strength to do that than it does to continue suffering in a familiar situation. Letting go doesn't mean giving up, it simply means trusting life enough to stop forcing what no longer fits. Sometimes peace, clarity, and healing arrive only when we loosen our grip and allow something new to emerge. So take a moment to gently scan your life and sense, what are you holding on to that no longer serves you? What is no longer working anymore? It can be a belief, a thought, a habit, a project, a person, or even a version of yourself. You don't need to name it clearly. If nothing specific comes to you, then that's okay. Simply sense the energy of holding, on to something that no longer serves you, that is exhausting or draining. So sense this energy of holding within your body. Notice where it lives, maybe in the jaw, in your forehead, in your shoulders, in the chest, in your belly, in your hands, or in your leg. Holding on often feels tight, contracted, heavy. So notice how and where is it manifesting in your body, this tendency to hold on to something in your life that is not working anymore. And there is no judgment here. Holding on to this thing once served a purpose. It helped you survive, belong, or make sense of something. So now bring your attention to your breath, and as you inhale, feel the effort of holding, and each time that you exhale, imagine loosening just a fraction. So, with each exhale, let go of this tendency to hold on tightly to something that no longer serves you. And you don't have to let go all at once, and neither you have to do it forcefully. Just see if you can allow a little bit release, a little bit softening of that grip. If you feel like, you can also coordinate this movement with your hands. Each time you inhale, you can tighten your fist, imagining that you are holding on to that thing in your hands. And each time you exhale, let go of that grip just a little bit more. Continue to open your hands just a little bit more with each exhale, knowing that you are not throwing anything away, you are not getting rid of anything forcefully. You are simply allowing space, creating more space for something that you really want, something that nourishes you, something helpful, something better. Something so good that you never imagined it, even in your wildest dreams. You are making space for all these wonderful things to enter your life. Notice what happens as you begin to soften. Perhaps you might feel fear, or maybe there is a sense of relief. Let all of it be here. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes strength whispers, I don't need to carry this anymore. Can you feel the difference between enduring something and having a choice? Endurance feels like I must keep doing this. I must keep going like this. And choice feels like I am allowed to change my relationship with this. This act of letting go is not about erasing your past, it's about honoring it and then releasing the unnecessary weight of it. And if you haven't already, allow your hands to be completely open. So your palms might be facing up and they are now in a receiving posture. So, if you feel comfortable, repeat these affirmations after me. I allow myself to loosen my grip. And with this statement, feel your hands completely open in a relaxed position. Repeat after me. I release what no longer belongs to me. And with this statement, imagine this thing, whatever it is that you have been holding on to, which no longer serves you. So imagine this thing either dropping down from your hands or melting away from your hands. Whatever visualization feels right for you, let it gently leave you. And now, as you release this thing from your life, repeat after me. I trust what unfolds when I release. So, if the process of letting go or releasing brought up uncertainty or fear, then repeat to yourself, I trust what unfolds when I release. And now feel the air touching the palm. Feel the air touching the skin of your hands. Feeling the space and repeat after me. I create space for what comes next. I create space for all the wonderful things to enter my life. And if you feel like, you can imagine whatever it is that you dream of to enter, to be placed in your hands by life. And still having some space left for beautiful, unexpected surprises to enter your life, the ones you never thought of, the ones that your mind can never imagine, but the ones that would bring so much fulfillment in your life. And now notice how your body is feeling right now. Is it still holding on to some tension, or has there been a sense of space created within you? A sense of ease and relaxation where there was tension before. If there is still some tension, then allow yourself to take 3 deep breaths, with the inhale becoming aware of all that tension created by trying to hold on to something that is no longer working in your life, something that no longer serves any purpose. And on the exhale, imagine letting go of that tendency to hold on. So try this. Try taking 3 deep breaths like this. And if you want, you can also pair this with tensing your hands with the inhale, making a fist, and on the exhale, slowly and gently letting go and opening your hands for something new and beautiful to enter. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to open your hands, open your mind, open your entire being, and trust that life will meet you there. You did great, my dear one. And now it's time to come back. So return your attention back to the surface beneath you, noticing how it is holding you, gently waking your body by wiggling your toes and your fingers, and in your own time, gently open your eyes. Arriving back in the space. Welcome back. If you guys would like to share your experience of this practice, you're welcome to do that in the comments. And if you don't feel called to type yet, that's perfectly okay. And I see that some new people have joined us while we were meditating. So, in case you guys missed the meditation, I want to let you know that I will share towards the end of this live where you can find the whole live as well as the meditation. But for now, I am going to go through the comments and then we will move on to phase two of this live, which is going to be about receiving the message that you need to hear most at this moment of your life. And we are going to do that through intuitive book readings. Okay. Eve says, thank you. Beautiful. So grounded and calm now. I am so glad that you experienced that, Eve. Thank you for sharing that with me. Means a lot. I felt that, today's quote was perfectly timed with what I've been seeing over the past few days. Like this year was about shedding your skin like a snake, and leaving behind all those things that no longer serves you. And then I saw today's quote and I was like, wow, this is the perfect, meditation as we are, ending the season, ending this year. So yeah, I am glad that you enjoyed it, Eve. And now let's move on to the next part of this live. So, for that, let me show you guys the Wheel of Wisdom. So, just a second. Yeah. So, my dear ones, this is our Wheel of Wisdom, and this wheel contains the name of 50 plus books. And these are the books that I have came across in my own journey of healing and personal growth. So now that we are feeling more centered, what we're going to do is we are going to set an intention and then we will spin the wheel so that the universe, God, divine, source, spirit, higher self, angels, whatever you think is here with you, guiding you. So we are going to, invite that being, that source to choose a book for us and to deliver a message that is going to be most helpful for us right now. Hello, Poonam. Poonam says, hello, Anisha, and everyone sharing this lovely space. Hi, Poonam. Welcome back here again. You are just in time for the reading. But before we spin the wheel, I invite you to take a moment and ask yourself, what do I need to receive guidance on? Or you can also ask the universe, God, source, whatever you believe in, that what do I need today? And either hold that question, or if an answer emerged for you, then hold that answer in your awareness as we spin the wheel. Okay, so the book that came for all of us here is Change Your Life in 7 Days. They are, I think, exactly 7 days, at least based on what date it is for me to end this year. So yeah, pretty optimistic. And yeah, the desire that we all have in a way. So yeah, so the name of the book again is Change Your Life in 7 Days by Paul McKenna. So let's see what this book wants to deliver us and how it is going to help change our life. And it goes very well with today's meditation as well, because we are inviting more change or more of the beautiful things that will enhance our life. So, what we usually do is we play a game where I ask you guys to pick a number. But for this book, I do not have the original book that I read because I've read these books over a period of 10 years and I didn't plan on doing this. So, I do not have the book, but I have my notes from these books because as I was reading, some of these books, I highlighted the insightful paragraphs or the transformative exercises from these books. So I have my notes here from this book. And what we're going to do is, what we can do with this is, I am going to close my eyes and ask my intuition to guide me. So I'm going to close my eyes, scroll through the notes until I feel like this is the section that everyone here needs to hear from. Okay, and then I'm going to read that out to you. So let's see which message wants to emerge for all of us. Okay. So there are, let's say, the 8 happiness triggers. So this is according to Professor Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, and he is the one who developed the concept of flow. You know, when you get into a zone and you are fully in it, so that is the flow state, and that is a very popular state in positive psychology. So this person, Professor Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, identified 8 characteristics that are invariably present during optimal experience. Okay, so I'm going to name all 8 and then we will see if we want to dive into each one or any one, or should we just, wrap it with these. So the 8 happiness triggers are: first, clear goals. So having clear goals in your life. Second is immediate feedback. So either it can be from yourself, you are reflecting, or it can be from someone else. Third is ability to concentrate on the task at hand. So it doesn't mean that your attention do not drift, but if it drifts, you can, bring it back to the task again, just like we do in a meditation. Fourth is the possibility of successful completion. So, like, there is this hope that yes, I can complete this, I can achieve this is achievable, this is attainable, I have the capacity to do this. So, in that way. Fifth is total involvement. So, like, you are totally in this thing. You are fully in it, when you lose sense of time, when you lose sense of all other things, um, whether you are hungry or not, and you are just fully in it. Like when you're watching a favorite TV show or when you're doing something that you really feel passionate about. Sixth is loss of self consciousness, meaning again, you are fully in it. There is no you and this task. It is just there is no differentiation anymore, and you are like in a way one with it. And yeah, so there is no separate self. Seventh is sense of control. So meaning that you feel like yeah, I have some control about it. I'm not totally helpless or things are not totally outside of my control. There is some sense of control. There are certain things about this task, the situation that are in my control. And eighth is distortion, meaning minutes becoming hours and or hours feels like minutes. Again, that time distortion. So you do not you are not anymore aware of whether you have been doing this for an hour or for like few minutes. um okay, give me a second. Yeah, so the author just shared some of his favorite activities that are time distorting, like, reading a book that gives illumination, or when you are drawing, or when you are dancing. So these kind of things, when you lose sense of time. So these were the 8 um, happiness triggers, or the 8 characteristics that are present in any optimal, in any present state. So you can, so you can work on them. You can try, if you reflect on your own experience of the last time when you had an optimal experience, when you were in that flow state, and you see whether they were present in it or not. And if you realize that they were, then how you can incorporate those elements into your life right now. So, if you, for example, the first one, if you don't have clear goals, then how can you set clear goals instead of just, yeah, I want to do something about it, I want to get better, but define that better, define, it to the specifics, and then start working upon it. And another is like immediate feedback. The second point was immediate feedback. So, you know, how nice it feels when you do something, when you create something, and then you get a praise either from someone else, or then you feel like a sense of achievement or pride that I did this. So try to include an immediate feedback after it, whether it is from someone else, like you share it with someone else once you complete the activity, or you give it to yourself, you reflect on it, and find the things that you did good about it, find the things that were difficult but you managed to learn them, and to accomplish something. So these are the 8 elements, and we can find all these creative ways to fit it into our experience, which would enhance it even more, which would make it a more optimal, pleasant experience through which we can enter into that flow state. We can be totally into that task. So, yeah, I guess that was, I'm not sure if anyone resonated with it. Let me know if this reading resonated with you guys. It did with me because right now I'm creating a resource for you guys, like a free guide. And yeah, it is going to be more about helping you figure out um what goals or habits to set for the next year. Not some random habits, not the top 10 habits that successful people have, or not, like the things that you think, yeah, that this sounds good, or my friend is doing this, I will do this, not that kind, but basing it really on, making it more authentic, making it more relevant and helpful for you so that you can have the best year, so that you can become your best self. So I'm working on that, and possibly maybe a course even to help you develop lasting habits. I'm not sure would you guys like that or not. Let me know. I was planning to launch a course on Insight Timer in January. Around that how can you build lasting habits, because this year I was able to successfully build 2 habits, and yeah, and they have been here with me. I started them in April or something. So yeah, let me know if you guys would like that course, if you would like me to build such a course or not. Because otherwise, why would I if you don't need that? So yeah, before we move on, would you guys be interested in that kind of a course, or did you guys like the idea of the guide? Share with me your, thoughts. Let me know. And then we will move on to the next reading. Ooh, Kathleen says, I recently broke a habit and I have been successful for 30 days. Oh my goodness, I am so happy to hear that, Kathleen. Would you like to share more, like either about the habit or what did you do that worked for you? So that everyone and even me, we all can learn from you. So yeah, would you like to share something about it? Okay, we have some comments. So yeah, Kathleen says, I finally feel free to use cognitive behavioral therapy. Really looked at the thoughts and why I was doing the habit. and have a full understanding of it. And now I'm not doing it anymore and I feel free. Oh, that is so amazing. Yeah, Yeah, so there in CBT, there is a technique for habits or behaviors where we really look into that, like either the reasoning behind it or like the secondary benefits that we might be getting out of that habit. So, yeah, so that's what I think Kathleen is mentioning about that why I was doing that habit, getting to the whys, the deeper whys. And once you understand it, sometimes you realize that they don't serve you very well, or that deeper benefit is not worth the cost of having that habit or something. So yeah, that is amazing. Thank you, Kathleen, for sharing that. That is really helpful. I'm sure it might be, for other people present here. And congratulations. I hope that you feel, you experience more of this freedom. Okay. So now I guess let's move on to the next reading. So let's see. So again, bring to your mind, ask the universe, what do I need today? And hold that in your awareness as we spin the wheel. So the book that came for all of us here is Why Has Nobody Told Me This Before? And this book is by Dr. Julie Smith. So she is also a psychologist. And let's see what this beautiful book wants to remind us. What has nobody ever told us about? So give me a second to choose some numbers and then we will play a game. Eve says great title. Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, because there are so many things that, oh, I wish we were taught when we were a child. But yeah, anyways, we can learn it. It's never too late, right? Yeah. Okay, guys. So, hmm. So the instructions for this game is that in a moment I'm going to ask you guys to pick a number between certain numbers, and I do not want you guys to rush. Instead, take your time and see which number is coming up for you. Share that number in the comments. I will go through all your numbers and pick a number that I am feeling most called to intuitively. Okay? So, the numbers between which I would like you guys to choose are 39 to 254. Here you go. Mm. Thank you, Poonam. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kim. Anyone else who would like to pick a number? Okay, we got another 48. Interesting. Thank you, Sharon. And that too, simultaneously. Hmm. Thank you, Annette. Okay, a very close number to 48 as well. Okay, I get the sign then. Let's go with 48. So, yeah, thank you, Sharon and Kim, for choosing that number. And maybe that reading might go to page number 50. We don't know, Annette. Okay, so let's see what is on page number 48. It is always so magical when, amongst all these numbers, you guys choose the same number twice or even thrice. And sometimes it has happened even more than that. Okay, so, hmm. So it is like an exercise, and it is about figuring out what you can do to change how you feel. So, okay, give me a second. Hmm. So, when we are trying to tackle our low mood, the tendency is to focus on everything we don't want to think and feel. There is value in doing that, but if we want to move away from what we don't want, it helps to know where we do want to go instead. So, mm, just a second. Yeah, so when you're feeling low, when you're feeling unpleasant, ask yourself when you have felt that way in past. So when have you felt the similar way in the past? And what has been the focus of your attention? So what were you focusing on in that moment when you felt this way, when you felt any unpleasant emotion? You can pick an emotion randomly also right now and ask yourself, what was the focus of my attention when I was feeling that way in that moment? And then, once you have picked a moment in the past when you felt a similar emotion, ask yourself, what might your thoughts or self talk need to sound like in order for you to feel that way? So, meaning, what was going on in your head at that moment? What were you thinking about? So take a moment to, recall all those thoughts that you were having, all those things that you were believing about yourself or other people or the situation or life in that moment. And ask yourself how you were feeling in that moment. What was the emotions that you were feeling in that moment? So were you feeling angry? Were you feeling sad, anxious? Were you feeling insecure or irritated, surprised? And if it was a negative emotion, if you're working with a negative emotion, then ask yourself, what do I want to feel instead of that? So, again, for anyone who joined us right now, we are trying to understand, we are trying to pick a situation from our past to work on this activity. So, we picked a situation where we were not feeling good. And if right now you're not feeling good, you can go with that. So, Go to that moment and notice what you were focusing on, what was going on in your head, what were you thinking about, what were you feeling in that moment. Or right now, if right now you're feeling low, then ask yourself, what is going on in my head? How is it making me feel right now? And once you have figured out the unpleasant emotion that you're feeling, once you have named it, then ask yourself, what do I want to feel instead of it? So, if right now you're feeling sad, if right now you're feeling afraid, then ask yourself, instead of feeling afraid, instead of feeling sad, how do I want to feel? It can be feeling hopeful, it can be feeling reassured, it can be feeling happy, it can be feeling, let's see, relaxed. So, you ask yourself, how do I want to feel instead of this unpleasant emotion? And then once you have figured out how you want to feel instead of whatever it is you're feeling, or if you are feeling good right now, then you're working with the past situation and you figured out what you would have wanted to feel instead of that. Then recall a time when you felt that way. Recall a time when you felt happy, when you felt hopeful, when you felt relaxed, you know. So recall a time when you felt that way and notice what was going on in your head at that moment, how you were talking to yourself in that moment. Were you talking to yourself in a kind way? Were you talking to yourself? What are the things that you were saying to yourself? What were the things that you were believing about yourself or life or other people? And at those times when you felt that pleasant emotions, what were you doing more of and what were you doing less of? For example, maybe if you are feeling, optimistic or happy, you are not complaining so much. So that is what you are doing less of. You are not being very critical of yourself. And instead, what you're doing more of is doing the things that you love or spending time with your loved ones, doing something kind for other people. So maybe that might be the thing that you were doing more of when you were feeling that pleasant way. So, again, right now, if you're feeling unpleasant, then name the emotion to cut short everything. To name the emotion, how you're feeling. Then ask yourself, how do I want to feel instead? Once you figure out how you want to feel instead of the unpleasant emotion, what pleasant emotions you want to feel, then try to find more details about that pleasant emotion. Like in all the moments in the past when I felt that pleasant emotion, then what kind of thoughts I was having, how I was talking to myself, what were the things I was doing more of, and what were the things I was doing less of, and how was your inner voice like? Was it more calming? Was it more, was the volume low and everything? So, what were the thoughts at that moment? What you were doing at that moment? What you were doing more of? What you were doing less of? Is there any activity that you can find that you do usually when you are in that pleasant state? And once you figure out something that you do in that pleasant state that even enhance that feeling. So if you're feeling relaxed, maybe you might, actually read a book, sitting in a cozy corner of your house and you do that. Maybe you go for a walk, maybe you talk with a friend. Maybe you do some act of little kindness. Maybe you watch TV. whatever it is. So now you got an action that can help you feel that way in the way that you want to feel instead of your current emotion. So go do that instead of whatever you were feeling the urge to do, like, switch on the lights and cry in your bedroom, or which is completely okay as well. But yeah, if we are going for the pleasant emotion, then for this task, we need to, the author is encouraging us to do that thing that you usually do when you're feeling that pleasant emotion. The pleasant emotion that you want to feel instead of your current unpleasant emotion. So if anyone did this activity with me together, you guys can, share here. What is the thing that you are planning to do that will make you feel that pleasant emotion? Oh, I'm glad to receive the hearts and the comments because I was like, is it getting too confusing? But yeah, I will summarize this in the group so it would be much easier to follow if you weren't able to do that right now. I will summarize it and I will put it in my group. So in case, and if you are new, then let me share the name of the group, which is on Insight Timer. Okay, so I will share a summary. Okay, Poonam says, wow, that's interesting. I'm glad that, this was something new and something that you can give it a try. Okay, so, we have some comments now. Kathleen says, walk outside and think of things to be grateful for. Okay, yeah, that is an amazing task, And so, whenever you feel that unpleasant way, you can go for this one. This is the activity that will help you feel more of those pleasant emotions. And they are in itself, regulating. Walking is regulating. There is movement, there is release of energy, and focusing on the things you're grateful for. Of course, that is the best and simplest practice. So, yeah, so Kathleen, remember to do that when you start to feel sad or anxious or whatever emotion that you don't want to feel right now. Um, Poonam says, often we have an unpleasant situation. It's difficult to bring this activity on mind as we are in bad feeling. So how to come back to pleasant feeling? Yeah, so right now, okay, give me a second to, really imagine the situation. Okay, so Poonam, what you can do is right now, when you are not in a very bad state, when you are in a neutral or pleasant state, what you can do is you can sit down and take a pen and paper and write down, pleasant activities and write down all the things that make you feel good, you know, all the things that you do, all the things that you did last week that make you feel good. This is a technique known as behavioral activation, which is from CBT, and it actually helps. It is actually an activity that is given to patients who are going through depression. And what it does is, this is just one part of the activity, by the way, but it is to list down all the activities that make you feel good, and you can even search for a whole list on the internet and it will give you, and you can choose ones that you do and that make you feel good, or you can think about on your own, like what were the activities that I did last week or last month or even last year that makes me feel good. And in this way you will have your own version of that list, and when you're feeling low, then you don't have to think a lot about it. You can just take out that list and go with any activity that feels doable at that moment, or do a mini version of that activity, whatever feels feasible at that moment. And and again, this is not a way to bypass your feelings. It is about, so when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling anxious, or whatever the emotion is, you can, you can, if it is intense, you can regulate yourself first to signal safety to your body. If it is manageable, you can first process it. You can, tend to it, you can process it. I have a whole guided meditation about it. If you want, I can share it. But yeah, so once you do that, then instead of doing anything else, now you will have an activity to go to which can help you even move faster towards a more beautiful state. So then you can do that activity. So it's not about suppressing your feelings. This should not become one way to do that. It is about knowing what you can do in that moment, which will help you move towards a better direction. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Poonam says, thanks, Anisha. I meant an unpleasant situation arises without any notice. We may not be ready to bring this list in our mind, right? That's my question. This list meaning what the activity that we did? Do you mean that, Poonam? Oh, okay. Okay. Anyways, maybe whatever I shared wanted to come through for someone. But yeah. Okay, now I got your point. Okay, so you're saying that. Okay, so when that situation arises, yeah, it is, be so do not expect yourself to remember all these, techniques and to apply them right when you are in the middle of a disaster. First of all, if it is a disaster, then your mind is not going to allow you to do any of these things. Your mind is going to be like, solve this problem. So if it can be solved and it is immediate, go for that first, then come back to these things. But yeah, so yeah, so don't ever expect or have this rigid expectation from yourself that you're going to apply all of these things when you are feeling that low. But try your best, and maybe, do some things in your environment that might help you remind to come to those. And what helps to be able to do these things at that time and when you are in the crisis mode is when you have been practicing them again and again, again and again on a daily basis. Then, not every day again, but on more days than not, then there is a high chance that you would remember to use them when you are in the crisis, because it would have become a very easy neural pathway in your brain to take, and then it would have been easy to remember it and practice it in those moments. But if you are not able to, that's completely fine. Then compassion is the way. Okay, Poonam says, okay, got it, very nicely explained. I'm glad that you got your answer. Okay, so hmm, hmm I'm thinking we are almost up with the time. Okay, let's do one more reading. These days I'm feeling called to do more readings. Okay, let's do one final reading and then we will wrap this live. Hmm? So, again, bring to your mind whatever it is that you need guidance on. Okay, and hold that in your awareness as we spin the wheel. Okay, the book that came for all of us is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and It's All Small Stuff by Richard Carlson. Today we are getting a very good, a lot of good titles. Okay, so give me a second to open the book and choose some numbers for the, game that we are going to play. And until I do that, in case you guys, have been enjoying this space, and if you would like to, you know, contribute towards keeping this space alive, to keep doing these lives, then you can do so by making a small donation, because it goes a long way. It helps me create a lot of other resources as well, apart from keeping these lives, going to keep these lives alive. So, yeah. Poonam says, oh, I have this book. Don't sweat the small stuff. Okay. Then you were meant to receive a reminder from this book, Poonam. Ha, lovely. Okay, so give me a second to choose some numbers. Hmm. Okay, my lovely dear ones. Instructions for this game is I am going to ask you guys to choose a number between certain numbers, and I do not want you guys to rush at all. Instead, pick a number that you're feeling most called to. Share that in the comments. I will go through all your numbers and choose a number that I am feeling intuitively called to. Okay? So, I invite you guys to pick a number between 20 to 147. Here you go. Thank you, Lalita. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Poonam. Anyone else who would like to pick a number? Okay, then let's go with our top three. Oh, we have a number. Thank you, Annette, for sharing a number. Hmm. Okay, so the number that I'm feeling most called to is 73 by Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, let's see what wants to come through page number 73. Hmm. So, the heading for this is Understand Separate Realities. When, while we are on the subject of being interested in the way other people do things, let's take a moment to discuss separate realities. If you have traveled to foreign countries or seen depiction of them in movies, you are aware of vast differences amongst cultures. The principle of separate realities says that the differences amongst individuals is every bit as vast. Just as we wouldn't expect people of different cultures to see or do things as we would, in fact, we would be disappointed if they did. This principle tells us that the individual differences in our ways of seeing the world prohibits this as well. It's not a matter of merely tolerating differences, but of truly understanding and honoring the fact that it literally can't be any other way. I have seen I have seen an understanding of this principle change lives. It can virtually eliminate quarrels when we expect to see things differently, when we take it as a given that others will do things differently and react differently to to the same stimuli. The compassion we have for ourselves and other people rises dramatically. The moment we expect otherwise, the potential for conflict arises. I encourage you to consider deeply and respect the fact that we all are very different. When you do, the love you feel for others as well as the appreciation you have for your own uniqueness will increase. I love how this addresses two different things, that sometimes we don't feel like we belong, that we are so different, and that is a bad thing. We think that, why I am not like other people, why I am not normal, why I am so messy, why I am this, why I am that, and and we doubt ourselves, we criticize ourselves for being the way we are, and we think that is a fault, that is a bad thing. And the author reminds us that it is beautiful, that while when we expect and appreciate the differences, we get to appreciate ourselves and our own uniqueness and what we add into this world. And similarly with other people, when we expect that, just like we expect that from different cultures, different part of the world, that they are going to do things differently, have different mindsets and everything. And so does the other person. Even the person who is born and brought up with us, like our own siblings, if we see, then they have a different way in which they view the world compared to us. And we both were, born and brought up in that same household from that same set of parents. And yet we turned out to be so different. And still we don't accept these differences, and these differences leads to quarrels and these conflicts. But when we expect that other people is going to have a different opinion, going to have a different reality, and it's all just subjective, it's the way they see their world, and it's the way I see my world. And there is nothing wrong with theirs, and there is nothing wrong with mine. They are just different. I love that, image of like 6 and 9. So, like, a person who is viewing it from this angle sees 6, and the other person viewing it from that angle, from the other side, sees 9. And no one is wrong. It's just we are getting a different experience of that same stimuli, of the same thing, of that same situation. So, remembering this can help us not think of ourselves as too right, and neither think of ourselves as, wrong in any way, but to accept that. And also that's why I say that in the thoughts lies the differences, but in the feelings lies the oneness, because just like I feel sad, you too feel sad, and just like you feel anxious, I too feel anxious sometimes. So that bridges the gap, and thinking like kind of divides in a way because we have different opinions, different perspective, different beliefs. So feelings can be a beautiful way to connect people. So that was all that was coming up for me. And let me know if it resonates with you, especially Jamie, if it spoke to you, and anyone else, whether like did it resonated with you, did it not? Let me know, because it did with me. It helped me understand that, yeah, the person I am having a hard time with comes from a different world, have a different set of, beliefs and mindsets, and neither I am wrong nor is he. But yeah, the differences are what they are. Okay, so I guess it's time to end this live. But before I do, in case any of you guys, joined late, then, let me tell you where you can find this live and also the meditation that we did, which was upon today's quote, which was about letting go of the things that no longer serves you and creating space for the ones that are going to be so fulfilling for you. So where you can find this live is you can go to my profile, you can go to the about section there. Yeah. So when you click on the about section, when you scroll all the way down, at the bottom you will see this, and here you will find a way to access my lives. this one and all the previous ones. And I already shared I will post a summary on my group on Inside Timer, which is Wonderful Beings. So if you are not there, you can join it because I post a summary within 5 or 10 minutes of the live ending. And if you're new to me, then I have a lot of resources for you guys to explore. You can explore it at three places. The first place is you can go to the home section, scroll all the way down. What is happening with my phone? Yeah. So you can go to the home section, scroll all the way down. Okay. And at the bottom, you will see that group that I was talking about. And then above it, you will see a playlist section. So here you will find all of my four playlists and you can explore them and see if any of them, fits your needs right now. That second place is the courses section. And here you will find all of my seven courses here related to negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, acceptance, stop chasing your life, accepting and start living your life and all of that. You can explore them at your own time and see if there is anything that you need. And we talked a lot about CBT today, so I also have a course on CBT, especially regarding your thoughts. So you can explore that here as well. So yeah, you can go through them and see which ones you like. And if you do not find any of the resource useful to you or relevant to what is happening to you, then you can finally go to the about section of my profile, scroll down, and at the bottom here again, you will find a lot of my offerings, everything that I offer here, as well as a way to, work more personally with me as well. So, yeah, and I also have some gifts, and I'm going to add that free guide as well here. Not today, maybe, I guess tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So, yeah, I guess that's it for what I had to offer here. Okay, let's see. Poonam says, yes, we spend so much energy. We spend so much energy trying to prove ourselves right. Exactly. Yeah. I once read it in some book, or yeah, in some book only, that when you are angry, you can ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to choose peace? Now, there are different situations in which it might be applicable or not, but yeah, if that is what came up for me when I read your comment, Poonam. And Poonam says, on a different note, Anisha, I want to appreciate your efforts of putting all messages from the books from live sessions in your group post. Sometimes it's interesting to read from there, and if any reminder is needed, so big thank you, dear. Oh, I am so, so happy that, it is helpful. Ah, that makes it all worth it, Poonam. Thank you. And you guys also, if you don't know, if you're new, you will find all of the summaries from all of my lives up until now in that group. So you can do that. If I'm not live, you can just scroll through them, pick a particular, post and just, receive the messages from there. Because the universe is always guiding you. You just need to be open to listen and hear. So that's it for this live. Capuchin or Capuchin. Let me know how to pronounce your beautiful name. But yeah, she says, thank you so much for your readings, for the exact guidance I needed. Oh, that is so, so, so nice. Thank you so much for that feedback. Every time I get these feedbacks from you guys, it makes me trust my inner wisdom, my intuition even more. So I so appreciate them. And thank you for being here. And I hope to see you in the next live if anyone is planning to drop out. We're just ending the live. But, anyways, so I will see you in the next live day after tomorrow at the same time. Kathleen says, thank you for these lives. It's so nice to meet with you every other day because you shine so much kindness and light and love and remind me that it's out there. Thank you. Kathleen, it reminds me of I think that quote by Rumi that the beauty you see within me is in you. Yeah, thank you for being the kind, amazing presence in the world, Kathleen. And I love spending time with you here so much. Poonam says, I agree, Kathleen. So sweet. Sabrina says, yeah, I agree too. Oh, you guys are so, so amazing. Oh my goodness. I am so grateful to have you all. I'm glad that our paths crossed. And I so appreciate that you guys want to spend more time with me in this space with all of us. Such a beautiful community here. I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste. I will see you day after tomorrow. Till then, take care. Bye bye.